Welcome to the video training of Visible Ally. Before you get started, please make sure to turn on your sound and print out all materials needed for activities. Students will need the Visible Ally General Handout. Facilitators will need the Privilege Game Handout, the Scenarios Handout, and the Common Questions Handout. Please have these on hand before beginning the video training. Welcome to Visible Ally, the third of 3 presentations in University of Wyoming Safe Zone trainings, sponsored by the Campus Activities Center. We've created this video as a resource for your organization. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us via email. Training resources are also available on our website. Before you go further with this video, please print or have access to the activities that go along with this video. These are the learning outcomes of this presentation. I'm not going to go over them, but you can pause them and read them if you would like. Let's lay down some ground rules for the purpose of your group. Remember that you can pause the video at any time to facilitate discussion. In fact, it is highly encouraged. Rule 1 is to ask questions. Even though we're not there, someone can answer questions if you send an email to safezone@uwyo.edu. Rule 2 is Vegas rules, which means that what happens during this discussion stays in this room. Everyone should have the ability to learn and grow without fear of their stories being shared. However, you can bring the learning that happens with you. Rule 3 is LOL, which stands for laugh out loud. Something funny might happen, and that's okay. Sometimes people laugh when they're uncomfortable and are processing a situation. It's good to laugh and process. Rule 4 is share the airtime. Everyone should have an opportunity to share their story. Rule 5 is that it's okay to change your mind. You might come across some information that leads you to think something differently after you have had this discussion, and that's okay. Rule 6 is to challenge by choice. Nobody is required to share their personal stories or participate. If you are not familiar with the LGBTQIA acronym, it is covered extensively in the first 2 sessions. If you need a refresher, we encourage you to pause the video now and watch the first 5 to 10 minutes of either LGB 101 or gender identity. Let's start with a simple question. What is an ally? Please feel free to pause the video and discuss this question to start. Here are some answers to what an ally is. First, an ally is a member of the dominant social group and/or someone who exists in a state of privilege. Are both of these components true? Another answer to what an ally can be is someone who takes a stand against social injustice and works to be an agent of social change. Does this sound accurate? Another definition is someone who works to end oppression through support and advocacy. This goes hand in hand with the first one. The final definition is an action rather than a noun or identity. Ally isn't just a noun or descriptor, it's a verb. Please feel free to pause the video and discuss these definitions. One thing that is difficult to understand, but is fundamental to understanding what ally means, is that allies do not experience the same social and societal stigmatization as the minority group they support. That's why the A in LGBTQIA does not stand for ally. An ally can choose to be an ally, while a person in the LGBTQIA community cannot choose to be or not be LGBTQIA. This is not to say allies are not important. People coming out of the closet will often come out to someone who is LGBTQIA friendly first, before anyone else, and there are so many allies who work for the benefit of the community. But allies do not experience the same discrimination in society, in the law, or in their workplaces as LGBTQIA folks. Do you remember discussing Wyoming laws in LGB 101 and gender identity? Pause the video for a moment and examine some of those policies. Do they impact allies as well? If you would like to review the Wyoming laws and policies affecting LGBTQIA people, you can find them in either LGB 101 or gender identity. Now that we've discussed what an ally is, let's discuss what we mean by privilege. Remember that first definition about dominant social groups? Basically, privilege is when a person automatically receives benefits for being part of that dominant social group. LGBTQIA people are a minority. The majority of our society remains heterosexual and cisgender. People who are heterosexual experience heterosexual privilege or benefits that are derived from just existing as a heterosexual person. Two examples of heterosexual privilege are not having to worry about being fired if you talk about your partner, and not worrying about the token not straight person in your social or religious group. Similarly, people who are cisgender experience cisgender privilege, or benefits that are derived from just being a cisgender person. Two examples of cisgender privilege are not having anyone ask you about what's down there, and knowing that no matter where you go, there will be a bathroom you can use safely. Pause the video for a few moments and try to think of some more benefits that a heterosexual person might experience. Do the same for cisgender benefits. We strongly recommend the facilitator be familiar with privilege discussions to facilitate and answer questions on this particular topic, since it is complex. Now, within the LGBTQIA community, there is an unfortunate trend known as bisexual erasure. Essentially, bisexual people are often mislabeled as being either gay or lesbian if they are with a partner of the same gender, or as straight if they are with a partner of the other gender. However, this erases a significant people group within the LGBTQIA community. This diagram from the Bisexual Resource Center breaks down 5 main areas of erasure that bisexual people experience. Pause the video for a moment and consider what it would feel like to experience this. Discuss it with your group. Now, let's play a quick game called the Privilege Game. The rules are available on our website. Please pause the video and go through a quick game, then come back after you've had a chance to discuss what you have learned. So now what? We've discussed allyship, privilege, erasure, and all the baggage that goes with those concepts. So what's the next step? One very visible way to do this is to use #I'llGoWithYou buttons. This campaign was started so that trans people in particular could know who would be a literally visible ally to them in whatever assistance they might need. Links to the I'll Go With You project are on our website, and we encourage you to pause the video and look into their goals. Now, we get to the part that's sometimes a little scary, beyond being a visible ally and into an active ally. These are just ideas, but incorporate them until they are common. If you have completed LGB 101 and gender identity, these are familiar to you. What we hope you do now is take them beyond what you can do into what you are doing. One of the most important is that we continue to educate ourselves and others. There are thousands of resources that can help you better understand people's experiences that are different than your own. This is a really great way to help yourself be more inclusive. We can use inclusive language. This means asking people what pronouns they use and using they pronouns for people we don't know. It means using the names that people tell us to use and respecting when and where people want us to use certain names and pronouns. We can and should refuse to tolerate isms and phobias. This means not letting things go that are offensive, even things like offensive jokes. We should be willing to discuss sexual orientation and gender identity issues. If someone has a concern, you should try to make yourself available to talk to them about what they're having trouble with. If you're not available, have an idea of where they can go. Don't assume someone's sexuality or gender. You can't know someone's sexuality or gender if they don't tell you. If it's really that important, the best thing to do is ask. Now we've gone over some more familiar ideas, let's take it to the next, more active level. First, confront behavior that's aggressive if you feel comfortable doing so. Never put yourself in danger, but if you can drop comments or serve looks that demonstrate your disapproval with that choice of language or other behavior, that can be extremely effective. Report behavior that's beyond something that you can handle. There are many entities that can help with this. At University of Wyoming, we have Title IX, Equal Opportunity Report and Response, and Dean of Students. I encourage you to get familiar with your own reporting authority at your own college or university. Beyond addressing situations in the moment, an active ally works behind the scenes to break down structural barriers. Bathroom issues are a hot topic in the U.S. lately, so go be an advocate at a town hall meeting. State your support. If you are not transgender, be a non-transgender person advocating for gender-neutral facilities. Remember that cisgender privilege? This is where and how you can use it. If you want to go further, look into how you can secure better protections against discrimination in our state. Laramie is the only location in Wyoming that has a non-discrimination ordinance on the books. 4 other cities have non-discrimination resolutions, which means they cannot be enforced as laws. Get involved in pushing for these. Or if you want, write your senator or representative to get a statewide hate crimes law passed. We don't have one. And lastly, run for office yourself. If you have other ideas, feel free to pause the video and have a discussion on them. To bring home this last part, let's do a quick activity. What would you do? There are a list of scenarios on a handout from the website. Discuss a few of them and how you would react in these situations if they happen in front of you, in your classroom, or if the situation would change if your friend was the one who said or did some of these things. Please pause the video while you discuss the scenarios. Last, here is a list of resources for the state of Wyoming and the United States, as well as a few at the University of Wyoming. First is the Trevor Project. This is a network designed to help at-risk or questioning LGBTQIA youth. They have a phone line that operates 24/7, but they also have texting and web chat options on their website if phones are not your thing. Next, Wyoming Equality is the largest LGBTQIA advocacy entity in the state of Wyoming. They organize events, do writing campaigns, and provide resources for anyone looking for information on LGBTQIA events and actions in the state. Next, ACLU of Wyoming is this state's particular branch of the American Civil Liberties Union. They work to protect people from discrimination and abuse and uphold their civil rights. Finally, let's close with 2 resources at the University of Wyoming that do LGBTQIA advocacy. The first is the Rainbow Resource Center. It operates as a safe space for LGBTQIA students to be in during the semester and has computers, a library, and a gender-neutral bathroom down the hall. Spectrum is the LGBTQIA-friendly student organization at University of Wyoming. They organize events, work with Safe Zone and Rainbow Resource Center on projects, and provide a network for LGBTQIA students and allies. Here are some references for further exploration, should you feel inclined. Thanks for watching Visible Ally, the third of 3 sessions in University of Wyoming Safe Zone program. If you have any questions, please email safezone@uwyo.edu.